Hi guys, welcome back. So I'm starting off using my Maybelline Master Prime in Blur and Illuminate. I'm putting this all over my face. That's what I always use. And then next we are moving on to the Revlon Photo Ready Skin Light in Bronze Light. Like I said in my previous video, my skin's been fairly dry, so I just need that extra hydration so I don't get that cakey, cracked snake skin. So next, moving on to the eyes, I'm using my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion in the color Eden. I love this. This just cancels out the pigmentation on my eyes and really brightens up any eyeshadows I'm going to be putting on them. And I'm setting that with a translucent powder. So for my first eyeshadow, I'm using the color Saddle by MAC. And I'm putting that in my upper crease, using the same windshield wiper motions I always use, going back and forth, really depositing that color in the outer corner of the eye and dragging it into the inner. You don't want to have too much pigmentation on the inner corner, especially for my eye. It just never looks good and always ends up looking messy. And then I'm blending that out using my MAC 224 brush. And I'm doing the same thing to my other eye. And guys, look, my mouth is closed. I'm trying. So next, I'm using the color Ash, and from the Lorac Mega Pro palette, the second palette, and I'm putting that in the same area that I put the color Saddle in the outer crease and dragging it to the inner, but bringing it a little bit lower because you don't want to cover up that saddle color. And I'm using the same brush. And using the same brush really gives you a better blend, and at least for me, I find that it works like that. And I am slowly building up that pigmentation, especially because this color is fairly dark. You don't want to go in with too much in the beginning. And then I'm using my MAC 224 brush to blend out any harsh lines. And then I usually go back at it again just to perfect anything, add a little bit more color, because sometimes you lose color when you blend. And of course, I am doing the same thing to the other eye. And then I'm using a brush with no product, and I'm blending out any harsh lines. So next, I'm using a really pretty blue color from Coastal Scents called Indigo, and I'm putting that in my outer and my inner crease. And this is really how you get that spotlight halo effect. So what I'm doing is I'm placing the eyeshadow down, and then I'm taking a blending brush and I'm slowly bringing it in the inner and outer corner, but not connecting it right away. Just really building up that color. So I'm placing the color, blending it up, dragging it in, placing that color, dragging it, blending it, doing it over and over so you really get that bright blue color that I want. Well, navy. And then I'm doing the same thing to the other eye. And you really want to make sure that you do this step slowly because you don't want it to get messy. So next I am using another MAC shadow in the color Atlantic Blue. And it's a little bit darker than the other color, so it'll give us some extra depth. And I'm putting that in the same place I put the indigo color, and using the same motions, dragging it up and blending it up. And blending it in, but trying not to cover the center because that's where our lighter shadow will go, which is the color Steel Gray. So it's really going to be a base for our silver liners you see right here, which I broke as I was filming. And this is the NYX Liquid Crystal in Crystal Silver. And I'm putting that right in the center of my lid to really give that pop. Makes the center of our eyes really draw the attention. So now I'm moving on to my liner. I'm using the NYC Liquid Liner in the color Black. I won't be doing a wing today, I won't be doing a thick line. I'm just lining my lashes to prepare for my falsies. And for falsies, I am using the Flutter Lashes in the style Intoxicating, which I glue and then I let them sit so they can dry. So for my face, I am using the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the Orange Corrector just to cover up any hyperpigmentation scars I have. And then for my foundation, I am using the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Foundation in C6, which is going in the outer part of my face, and the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation in Soft Sable, which is going in the inner, because that's where I'm the lightest, and I'm using my beauty blender to blend this out. And you really want to make sure you drag your foundation down to your neck and really onto your ears too, especially if your ears are lighter than your face. And now that those lashes are dry, I'm placing the lash in the center of my eye and then placing down the outer corner and the inner corner. And I have such a habit of using too much glue, but whatever. For concealer, I'm using the Maybelline Master Conceal in the color Medium. I'm obsessed with this concealer. It's really similar to the MAC one I used to use. Perfect color, I love it. You really don't need a lot of this, but when I'm doing a going out look, which I consider this to be, I really F it up on the concealer. And using that same beauty blender I used for my foundation, I'm blending that all out. Guys, it took so much for me to keep my mouth closed. Like, I had to think about it as I was doing this. So for my cream contour today, I'm using this is the, what color is this again? I know it's the LA Girl Pro Conceal. Oh, it's in the color Black Walnut. So I'm changing it up for my Black Opal, just to do something different. And the thing with this, guys, is it dries so fast. So I do one side of my face, blend it out, and then do the other. Because it'll definitely leave little specks and marks. So you really want to blend quickly. So I'll be setting my concealer in my face with the RCMA No Color Powder. I'm obsessed. I think I almost like it more than Laura Mercier Translucent Powder. Kind of can't explain why yet. It's just I like how my face looks. It's brightening. It's kind of scary because it looks stark white, but it doesn't transfer to the face like that. I'm obsessed. I love it. I definitely recommend it. So to set my contour, I'm using my Tarte Tarteist Contour Palette in collaboration with Makeup Shayla. As you can see, my hyperpigmentation scars started to peek through. It's just dark at this point, so with the blending, I just took off some of that coverage. If you have that issue, just be careful. And then I'm also blending my nose with that color. I think the color is number 3 in the palette. And then I felt like my contour would look a little messy, so I'm using that RCMA powder just to clean up right under that line, so you get that sharp contour. And then for bronzer, I'm using my favorite, love it, it's the Guerlain powder. And then for blush, I'm using this NARS 4-Plate Orgasm Cheek Palette. It was limited edition, but the color that I use is very similar to the NARS blush Amore. And then for highlight, I'm using the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Opal. An oldie, but always a goodie. And then I'm blending that RCMA powder away. So for the lash line, I'm going back to that color Saddle that we used for the initial transition color, and I am placing that on my lower lash line. So for this, I'm doing the exact same steps I did on my eye. So I'm placing on the outer and the inner, leaving the middle open, and then I'm blending it so you have no harsh lines. And I'm doing the same thing to the other eye. And I'm really building up that color, adding and blending. And then I'm using that color Ash that we also use as well, and I'm putting that in the inner and the outer corner, and then I'm using that same pencil brush to blend it, leaving as much of the middle of the eye open as I can. And then I'm using that MAC Atlantic Blue, doing the exact same thing, placing in my inner and outer corner, and then taking my pencil brush again, and I'm blending that all out. And it really gives you that pretty gradient effect. And then I am taking that steel gray color as the base in the center of my eye, and then I'm using that NYX crystal silver liner, and I'm placing that right on top. So it really mirrors the top of the lid. And then for liner, I'm using the Maybelline Gel Liner in Black is Black. So onto the lips, I'm using MAC Chestnut, no surprise. And for lipstick, I'm using the Milani Color Statement Matte in Matte Naked. I forgot about this lipstick, but I love the color. It's almost like my lip color, but better. I love it. And then for gloss, I'm using the Maybelline Color Elixir Lip Lacquer in Nude Illusion. So I was looking for this color online. I can't find it, but it is on the Maybelline site if you are interested in it. And that about wraps it up. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. Any details of this look, products will be on my blog, beautywoo.com, which I will have below. Please subscribe. Thank you.